On a fateful day in September 2001, the world witnessed an unprecedented tragedy that reshaped the course of history. Join us as we delve into the events of 9/11 and the subsequent War on Terror. Part 16 of our series brings us to one of the darkest chapters in modern American history: the terror attacks of September 11, 2001. This cataclysmic event not only shook the foundations of the nation but also marked the beginning of a new era in global politics. The events of 9/11. We begin by revisiting the harrowing events of that clear September morning when terrorists hijacked 4 commercial airplanes, targeting the World Trade Center and the Pentagon. The shockwaves of 9/11 reverberated across the nation and the world, leaving an indelible mark on the collective consciousness. The morning of September 11, 2001, dawned like any other, but it would soon unfold as a day that altered the course of history. 4 commercial airplanes, hijacked by members of the terrorist group Al-Qaeda, became instruments of destruction. 2 crashed into the iconic Twin Towers of the World Trade Center in New York City, another struck the Pentagon in Arlington, Virginia, while the 4th, United Airlines Flight 93, crashed into a field in Pennsylvania after passengers bravely fought back against the hijackers. The nation watched in disbelief as the Twin Towers, symbols of American economic prowess, collapsed in a cloud of dust and debris. The magnitude of the loss was not only measured in terms of lives and infrastructure but also in the collective sense of security that had prevailed on American soil. Survivors' accounts and footage from that day provide a gut-wrenching glimpse into the chaos and confusion that ensued. The desperate attempts to evacuate the buildings, the courageous actions of first responders, and the sheer scale of the devastation created an indelible memory that would forever be etched in the hearts and minds of those who witnessed it. The War on Terror begins. In the aftermath of 9/11, President George W. Bush declared a war on terror, pledging to eradicate global terrorism and hold those responsible accountable. This marked the beginning of a new and complex chapter in U.S. foreign policy. The aftermath of 9/11 saw the United States grappling with grief, anger, and an urgent need for decisive action. In a nationally televised address on the evening of September 11, 2001, President George W. Bush addressed the nation from the Oval Office. In his speech, he outlined the gravity of the situation, vowing not only to bring the perpetrators of the attacks to justice but also to embark on a broader mission to combat terrorism globally. The search is underway for those who are behind these evil acts, President Bush declared, setting the stage for what would become a defining moment in the nation's history. The War on Terror, as it came to be known, was characterized by a multifaceted approach aimed at dismantling terrorist networks, preventing future attacks, and promoting stability in regions susceptible to extremism. The decision to declare war on an abstract concept, terrorism, was unprecedented in U.S. history and marked a departure from conventional warfare strategies. This paradigm shift brought with it a set of challenges and complexities that would unfold in the coming years. The Afghanistan invasion. Our exploration extends to the U.S. military intervention in Afghanistan, as the nation sought to dismantle the Taliban regime and eliminate Al-Qaeda, the terrorist organization responsible for the 9/11 attacks. The focal point of the War on Terror materialized in the rugged and challenging terrain of Afghanistan. The Taliban, an Islamist extremist group that had harbored Al-Qaeda and its leader Osama bin Laden, became the primary target of U.S. military intervention. In the weeks following 9/11, the U.S. initiated Operation Enduring Freedom, deploying military forces to Afghanistan with the objective of dismantling the Taliban regime and rooting out Al-Qaeda operatives. The invasion marked the beginning of a protracted and complex conflict that would shape the geopolitical landscape for years to come. The initial phase of the campaign saw swift military advances, with the Taliban regime quickly losing control of key cities. However, the mission evolved into a prolonged and challenging effort to establish stability and prevent the resurgence of extremism. The Afghan people, caught in the crossfire, experienced the complexities of nation building amid ongoing security threats. As the U.S. military engaged in combat operations, efforts were made to train and equip Afghan security forces, foster democratic institutions, and promote reconstruction and development. The narrative of the Afghanistan invasion became a tapestry woven with the threads of military strategy, geopolitical considerations, and the quest for long-term stability in a region marred by decades of conflict. Impact on civil liberties. The War on Terror brought about significant changes domestically, as security measures were heightened, giving rise to debates on the balance between national security and individual freedoms. As the U.S. waged war on foreign soil, the reverberations of the War on Terror were felt domestically, fundamentally altering the relationship between the government and its citizens. In the quest for enhanced national security, sweeping legislative measures were introduced, igniting debates about the delicate balance between safeguarding the nation and preserving individual liberties. The USA Patriot Act, passed in the aftermath of 9/11, granted law enforcement agencies expanded powers to surveil and investigate individuals suspected of terrorism-related activities. While proponents argued that these measures were necessary for preventing future attacks, critics raised concerns about the potential erosion of civil liberties and privacy rights. The implementation of enhanced security measures at airports, government buildings, and public spaces became a visible manifestation of the nation's response to the perceived threat of terrorism. Heightened security protocols, surveillance programs, and intelligence-gathering efforts became integral components of the post-9/11 landscape. These changes, while intended to enhance national security, sparked debates about the delicate balance between security and civil liberties. The tension between protecting the nation from external threats and safeguarding the freedoms enshrined in the Constitution became a defining feature of the post-9/11 era. Legacy and ongoing challenges. As we reflect on this period, we examine the enduring legacy of the War on Terror, its impact on geopolitics, and the ongoing challenges the United States faces in the ever-evolving landscape of global security. The legacy of the War on Terror extends far beyond the physical battles fought in Afghanistan and other theaters of conflict. Its impact reverberates through the corridors of power, the hearts of the American people, and the geopolitical landscape of the 21st century. One of the enduring consequences of the War on Terror is the reshaping of U.S. foreign policy. The focus on counterterrorism, preemptive strikes, and the deployment of military forces in regions perceived as hotbeds of extremism became defining elements of U.S. strategic considerations. The notion of preventive action, justified by the need to thwart potential threats before they materialized, challenged traditional norms of international relations. The war in Afghanistan, initially framed as a response to the 9/11 attacks, evolved into a protracted conflict with multifaceted challenges. Nation-building efforts, attempts to establish stable governance structures, and ongoing security concerns created a complex web of interrelated issues. The question of when and how to withdraw U.S. troops from Afghanistan became a recurring theme in subsequent years, encapsulating the difficulty of extricating the nation from a conflict with deep historical roots. At home, the legacy of the War on Terror left an indelible mark on American society. The re-evaluation of security protocols, the expansion of government surveillance powers, and the enduring debates over the balance between security and civil liberties became defining features of the post-9/11 era. The events of that tragic day in September not only reshaped the physical landscape of the nation but also prompted a profound introspection about the values and principles that define the United States. The ongoing challenges stemming from the War on Terror extend beyond the military and security realms. The ideological struggle against extremism, the complexities of nation building, and the intricate task of navigating a rapidly changing global landscape present ongoing challenges for policymakers and citizens alike. As we reflect on the legacy of the War on Terror, we must grapple with the complexities of a world forever changed by the events of 9/11. From the geopolitical intricacies of combating terrorism to the introspective examination of societal values, this chapter in American history serves as a poignant reminder of the enduring impact of tragedy on a nation's trajectory. In the wake of tragedy, the United States found strength in unity and resilience. Join us in the next part of our series as we explore the post 9/11 era and the complexities of the modern world.